What's going on, y'all? It's your boy RickyMoto. Welcome back to yet another video. Oh my god, it's so hot out today, man. Holy cow. Feels freaking amazing today. The weather is so nice. It's a little bit hot though. It's 87 degrees out, but as I'm moving on the bike, the wind kind of cools me off, so it doesn't really feel that bad. I have my day off today, which is why I'm going out for a ride. This whole entire week I've just been working, so haven't really had time for myself to really enjoy myself and chill. If you guys don't know what I do, I'm a valet driver. It's a pretty chill job though. It's not like I'm constantly doing something. I basically just sit there at the booth and I just wait for cars to come in and I park them, and then I do pullouts, give the car back to the customer. You make a decent amount doing that too if you guys are looking for a job. If you guys want to support the channel, you guys want to support me as a person, I do have a small business. I make and sell candles, so if you guys like candles, if you want to get it for yourself or for other people as a gift, it's called The Salted Candle. There will be a link in the description below. You can use the discount code THANKYOU for 10% off your purchase. Ooh, we got a Ninja. Nice. Are we gonna do some hooligan things today? I guess so. Damn. What's up, bro? I know, that's a ZX6R. Anyways, today I wanted to actually talk about riding a motorcycle in New York City, or just New York as a whole, because that's where I'm from. I live in New York. I live specifically in the Long Island area. A lot of people say that riding in a big city is not really ideal. Mind you, with New York, we have crazy weather. It's very up and down. It gets hot some days, cold some days. I guess we're lane splitting. This is a benefit of having a bike here because New York traffic is pretty freaking crazy. It's always flooded with cars. Oh, is that a cop? No, it's not. That's what I kind of noticed. The main thing for me with riding a motorcycle in New York City is the convenience of not having to go through all this traffic. If I was in a car, I'll be way back behind me right now, but the fact that I'm on a bike, I can just navigate in between the cars. Now, lane splitting in New York is not legal like it is in California, so you could get in trouble for doing this. But realistically, how many times do you get pulled over for lane splitting? At least for me, I've never gotten pulled over ever on this bike as a whole for speeding for anything. It's mainly because there's a no pursuit law here. I don't know if it applies for other states, but basically if you're doing anything crazy, if you run from the cop, technically you can't chase after you, so like you can't really get a ticket on a bike here, which is nice. My license plate is also kind of folded up, not to the point where it's not visible, but like it's not really visible by like speed cameras. So yeah, it's a nice little benefit of being here in New York. Now, in terms of like the weather, definitely is a struggle because we have literally 4 seasons here: winter, summer, spring. We got fall. That was totally out of order, but you get my point. Like when it gets to the cold months, you can't really ride anymore because it gets uncomfortable. It gets really cold. I mean, there are some people who ride in the winter time. Sometimes I do. I just have to bundle up and whatnot. I wear like a full-blown winter jacket, which looks hella goofy on the bike. Sometimes even with the winter jacket, it doesn't really do much justice because it gets down to like 10 degrees Fahrenheit here. So like realistically, your riding season only exists for like half the year, for like 6 months. So yeah, is riding a motorcycle in New York really worth it? I don't know, man. It kind of depends on how often you ride. Personally, I don't ride too often. The bike is more of something I take out on the weekends. That's why I have 800 miles on this bike, and I had it for like 6 months now. For me, the bike is more of a recreational thing. It's something that I just take out and ride around for fun. I know some people like ride to commute, so I guess when it comes to that, it could be a little bit of like an issue. You can't ride in the rain or whatever the heck. There's a lot of weather conditions about New York that make it difficult. That's also why there's not too many moto vloggers here in New York, mainly because like, one, the scene isn't big with motorcycles as a whole. and like not a lot of people ride throughout the year. So like, you know, there's not a lot of people who make content, which is what I'm kind of concerned about, you know, during the winter time. Like, what kind of content am I going to be pushing out? There are a couple moto vloggers in the New York area. You know, there's this one guy that I talk to pretty often. His name is 1K or Madlit 1K. He has a BMW S1000 RR. Pretty sweet bike. I don't know if that's like considered overpowered for the New York streets. That's one of the reasons why I decided to get a 300 like this, because, you know, you don't really need to go all that fast in New York. Like, how much faster can you go with these tight ass roads? I mean, New York has a lot of different boroughs and like different areas. You know, for me, I live in Long Island, so the roads are actually pretty good. It's like really wide, long strip highways. If you live in the Long Island area, it's a bit more reasonable to ride. But if you live more towards like the metropolitan area in the city, or like Queens, where the roads are like this, basically, I'm in Queens right now, it gets a little bit difficult to ride because it's so tight, you can't really move much. If you are from the area, if you're from New York City or New York State, and if you're wondering if you should get a motorcycle, I think you should really ask yourself, you know, how often are you going to really ride? Are you okay with the fact that you can only ride for like half the year? If you want to think about it from a practical standpoint, you know, especially with the gas prices nowadays, riding a motorcycle is definitely a lot more affordable because it's super cheap. It doesn't run on a lot of gas and you can get really far distances. So like, if you do want to commute to work or commute to school or whatever age you're at, if it's a summertime, if you have summer classes where you have work in the summer, it's a good way to save some money by, you know, riding a motorcycle instead. Another thing is, like, motorcycles, since they're small, not only are they easy to navigate, they're easy to park. You know, parking in New York City, especially in a city, is a freaking pain in the ass. Whenever I drive to Manhattan, it takes me about like 30 minutes to an hour just to get a parking spot. And even when I park there, I don't even know if I can, because like a lot of places you're not actually allowed to park at and you can get ticketed for it. So like, if you have a bike, it's so much easier to find spots because it's so much smaller and you don't actually park like parallel park like cars do. You usually back into the curb, so you really only take up like 2 feet of space. And if you're from like Long Island area, then for sure I'd say get a bike because you have all that road to have fun on. The weather is not going to change, you know, you still have that only 6 months realistic sort of riding time. The thing I'm kind of like wondering is, how come there's not a lot of motovloggers here? You know, it's not like, yeah, we have the whole weather issue, yeah, we have like, you know, the crappy roads at times. There's still a fair share amount of people that ride here, and I feel like I haven't found any other motovloggers in New York City besides like MT09 or MT09 New York, something like that, or Madlit 1K. There's really only like 2 to 3 motovloggers that are known in the area. The only New York YouTubers are like vloggers, and they're all like New York City like fashion people. Oh geez, police. See, like that. I just passed some cops, they don't even care. Because what can they do? Come after my ass in this traffic, man? Wow, look at that ocean. Well, it's not even an ocean, it's like a little pond. This is fun, man, like navigating through traffic. I know a lot of people hate when there's a lot of traffic, but on a bike, it makes it kind of fun because it's like a game. I'm not trying to be an asshole by doing this, but you know, if I just follow traffic like a normal person, all the heat really starts building up and fuming up from the bike. What do you guys think? You know, do you guys know any New York City motor vloggers? Is there much of a bike scene in New York as a whole? I followed his Instagram page where they have like weekly bike meets in Brooklyn. I never been, but other than that, like I don't really think there's much of like a bike scene here, which kind of sucks. After I saw this bike, it's not like it's done for me. It's not like it's over, I'm not riding anymore. I do want to get another bike, probably like a R7 or R6, something like a 600 range really. I was looking at used bikes on the market, and the R6 is pretty expensive actually, even for like a 2017. It costs more than what the R7 costs, which is understandable because the R6 is actually a more expensive bike MSRP wise. So even the used prices are higher than a brand new R7. Now the older body style of the R6 is going to be cheaper, you know, like 2016, 15, 14-ish. But I'm just not a fan of the front end design of those, which is why I'm like, I want a 2017 at least. I've ridden an R7, you know, it's great, I loved it. But in a way, like, I feel like it's a little underpowered for, you know, what I want to do. I mean, obviously, if I'm like riding city streets, it's more than enough. But like in Long Island, that's when you can really get to, you know, use those long roads and get that power out. The 2017 R6 looks pretty much the same design-wise to an R7. But for some reason, I always just like the R6 better. I mean, they look pretty similar, but there are some slight differences in the design. I just feel like the R6 design looks slightly, you know, more aggressive. Also, I kind of like the analog dash that's on the R6. But I don't know. I mean, I'm still deciding on what bike to get. I don't really know yet, but you know, as for right now, I'm gonna just enjoy the R3. Wow, look at all that traffic, boy. Woo! Wow, this is a beautiful day out. A lot of cars here. Not a car meet, but just like a lot of normal cars here. Look at all these tire marks. People come here to do donuts. So use of cameras prohibited, strictly enforced. Well, I didn't know you can't take pictures here. But yeah, Yamaha R3, man. I got very little time with it. Only had it for like 6-7 months. You know, I really enjoyed it for the time that I had it. I am growing out of it, unfortunately. You know, I just think it's a little slow for Long Island roads. In Queens, New York, more than enough. But like in Long Island, people are going like 70-80 miles an hour. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to make as much content as I can while I have the R3. Because once I sell this thing, I'm probably not going to be making motorcycle content for a little bit. At that point, I'm probably going to switch to making more car content because, you know, my car build is still a thing. I just haven't really been updating you guys on it. But yeah, guys, in about a month or so, this bike is going to be no longer with us. That's, you know, if everything goes through. So share some love, you know, share some support. We're going to switch to the car build after a month. And then once I get another bike, then, you know, I'll start making motorcycle content again. But yeah, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your boy RickyMoto, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.